Good morning and welcome to Football League World TV. It is Friday morning. It's time for the EFL betting show. My name is Sam Rourke, the chief editor of footballleagueworld.co.uk, and I'm joined by two of my colleagues, Ben Wignall and Ned Holmes. Ben, how are you getting on this morning?
Yeah, all good, Sam. One more day to go until we get a full EFL fixture list. Looking forward to hopefully having some winning selections.
Absolutely. And Ned, how are you getting on?
Yeah, all good, thanks, mate. As Ben said, a sort of action-packed weekend and great games on Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday as well. So it's a sort of a nice weekend punting-wise.
Yeah, absolutely. If you haven't watched this show before, we pick out 4 individual selections. We select a banker, an accumulator, a value bet, and a wild card. So make sure to get yourself in the comments. Let us know what you think of Ben and Ned's selections this morning. Just a reminder, we are broadcasting live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. So do get yourself in the comments. And also, please do gamble responsibly, 18 and over. Right, let's get into the banker selections next. Right, Ben, let's get your banker in the EFL for this weekend.
I'll try to find something that's kind of above evens because I'm trying to turn the value of these bankers, and I've gone for Plymouth at 21-20 to beat Shrewsbury now. Shrewsbury have been in half decent form in the last month or so, and they got a draw against Wickham last time out. But looking at the stats, I think Wickham had about 17 shots to Shrewsbury's 1, so I think they got a little fortunate to come out with over a point at Adams Park. Plymouth, though, they've in the last month, so they've been kind of inconsistent, but they've got back-to-back wins against Doncaster and Crewe, which have been 3-1 and 4-1, so the goals are flowing again. Ryan Hardy got a hat-trick against Crewe, so just think that Plymouth might be back on kind of early season form. I know they didn't have the strongest opposition in the last few games, but I just think that they might be getting back to the best in 21-20 represents quite a good value.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they are only 3 points off the playoffs as well, so a victory this weekend would really enhance their chances of a playoff finish. There we go. Ben opting for Plymouth Argyle as his banker this weekend. Ned, what are you going for this weekend for your banker?
I've gone for QPR to beat Barnsley at evens, so a fiver returns £10. I was at the King Prince Foundation Stadium on Wednesday, and the R's were sort of hammered. Well, not hammered, but Borough very much on top, and the R's pretty lucky to come away with a point, really. And Mark Warburton was sort of happy to admit that in the press conference after the game. But they've been on a roll this year. I think that they're a good team at sort of grinding out results in 2022. Some late goals, particularly through Chris Willock and Willock and Elias Chair, both back now, and a smart window means that they've got really a squad stocked with quality, and they should have more than enough to beat a fairly dismal Barnsley team who struggles. I think I've been the first to highlight on the betting show and other shows on Football League World TV in the sense of I've picked a lot of teams against them, but they keep losing, Sam. We saw the R's blow away your Reading not long ago, and I think we could see them do the same again here. But as it's the banker, just staying on sort of just the win, and that's evens.
Evens. I've got to say that's a really generous price, I think, there for QPR to beat Barnsley. I've got to say I like that a lot. That could have easily been your value bet selection, I say, this week. There we go. Ben opting for Plymouth, Ned opting for Queen's Park Rangers as their bankers for this weekend. Right, let's touch on the accumulator next. Just before we touch on Ben and Ned's accumulator, we've had a comment come in from Des Oldham. Des, great to have you with us this morning. My big odds ACCA is QPR, Millwall, Forest, Tranmere and Bristol Rovers. Tranmere and Bristol Rovers, Mansfield, both teams to score at 47-1. Some juicy odds there. Des, cheers for that. Right, Ben, let's get your accumulator for this weekend.
Well, I've stuck to a 4-fold this week. I think the last few I've had a 5 and 6 folds with a lot of, kind of short price favourites, which haven't tended to work out. So I've gone with Plymouth as my banker on there. And like Des has picked, I've gone for Forest as well at home to start now. I think Stoke obviously got back to winning ways last time. They beat Swansea pretty convincingly 3-0, but, the form's been kind of, up and down since the start of 2022. And I think the way Forest are playing, they're quite irresistible at the minute. The way they beat Premier League teams and the way they beat Blackburn as well. I just think 13-10 is too good of an opportunity to pass up on to put on Acca. So I've gone for them. Plymouth, gone for Accrington 7-10 at home to Crew. Crew haven't won in the last 5, and I think they've just lost Mikael Mandron, who's probably one of the better players to injury. So Accrington off the back of a 2-0 win over Oxford. They probably were lucky not to get a draw against Rotherham in the last minute. Obviously, missed a penalty last weekend. So I think 7-10 as well. It's skinny odds, considering Accrington they can be, up and down. But I think that win over Oxford in midweek will be a bit of a confidence boosting one there in mid-table at the minute. Aki said will be looking to push towards the playoffs. And I've gone for a team who aren't in particularly good recent form in Swindon. Now they're playing Scunthorpe at home. The Swindon lost 3-0 to Tranmere midweek, and they were 1-0 up against Exeter last week, weren't they? And conceded 84th, 86th minute. So it's not a majorly confident pick going off the last few results, but I think Scunthorpe, even though they did beat Walsall 1-0 midweek, they'd lost 7 in a row before that, and can't see them, going on a run to get themselves out of trouble. And Swindon will be, looking to get back to winning ways, and I think they'll be looking to prove a point. So I think at 4-7, they are skinny odds considering they lost the last 2, but I think Scunthorpe won't pose much of a threat to them. So that fourfold of Accrington, Forest, Plymouth and Swindon pays 11.6 to 1. So if you put in a tenner on, you're looking around 126 quid.
Nice. I like that. Let us know in the comments what you think of Ben's accumulator there. Ned, what's your ACCA for this weekend?
I've gone for a threefold, Sam, starting obviously with QPR to beat Barnsley. Then I've got Coventry to beat Reading. Sorry to sort of bring it up again, Sam, but the Royals, they look really dismal against Bristol City. And if they play anything like that, I think Mark Robin's side are sort of a smart enough unit to put them away. The Sky Blues' recent run is actually much better than it looks at first look. I think, a draw against a Blackpool team that have, frustrated a lot of teams. A loss to Premier League Southampton was fairly tight. A tight loss to a good Borough team. A win against Stoke, another tight loss to QPR, and a win against Posh. I think that's fairly strong. They're sort of quietly still in that playoff race, and I think this is a perfect opportunity to make some more ground on the top 6 against a Reading side that they look a bit lost right now. And I think all that stuff with the sort of fan draw that I saw come out the other day is, that seems to be smoke and mirrors more than anything else, trying to sort of paper over the cracks. Obviously, the message they want from the ownership is the manager gone, but that doesn't seem to be happening. So Coventry to beat Reading, and then I've got Mansfield to beat Bristol Rovers. Quite simply, I think Mansfield, we talked about them as one of the form teams in the EFL in recent months, and simply, Mansfield are a better team than Rovers. They're in better form and they've got more to play for as they really sort of push up the table. And I think they should have too much for Joey Barton's side. So that's QPR, Coventry and Mansfield at 9.8 to 1. £5 returns 56.70 with a bonus you get on Bet365.
Nice. Again, I like them odds for a treble like that. I can see that one coming in definitely. Just a reminder, please do gamble responsibly. 18 and over. Right, let's look at the value bet next. So, Ben, let's get your value bet for the in the EFL this weekend.
I've gone for a team very much in form in Bolton. They are 13-5 away. A very tough game. It is against Oxford. But the fact that Oxford just lost to Accrington Stanley away. I know they're at home in this match, but I think that could be a bit of have a negative impact on them. I think the home form has been, decent recently. They beat Sheff Wednesday 3-2, a last-minute goal a few weeks ago. But I just think the form that Bolton are in, the last 5 or 6 games, he seems to have turned the corner with these January signings they've made. They blew Sunderland off the park. I know they drew against Morecambe, but they showed a lot of fight to get back into that, especially with all the incidents that were happening in that game, with all the off-field drama. But I think something like 5 wins in the last 6. I just think that they will have a lot of momentum going into that. Dion Charles is on fire and they just seem to be firing now. Might be a bit too late for a playoff push, and who knows, but I think 13-5 does represent a quite good value for a team who are, unbeaten in the last 6, albeit against really tough opposition.
Yeah, Bolton seemingly have turned a corner in recent weeks. Look like a much better side. There we go. Ned, Ben opting for Bolton as his value bet this weekend as they travel to the Kassam Stadium to face Oxford. Ned, what is your value bet in the EFL this weekend?
As you mentioned earlier, Sam, I did consider the QPR at Barnsley at evens. That is a really good price, but I've sort of followed something that I've done a few times in the betting show, and I had a bit of success with in picking sort of teams away from home, or not the favourites to come out on and pull off an upset with odds that I think are really favourable. Derby County are 4-1 to beat Middlesbrough on Bet365. Obviously, Borough have been fantastic recently. They were really irresistible to watch at points in midweek, and obviously that win against Man United not long ago was impressive. But that there's obviously another level to this game with everything that's going on off the field between the two clubs. Steve Gibson reportedly is sort of up to security. There's going to be thousands of Derby fans travelling, and and on the back of an impressive win against Hull, and suddenly that escape from relegation for Derby, which seems so unachievable, now is almost realistic, and that's going to really, I think, spur them on. When I spoke to him on Wednesday in the post-match press conference at QPR, Chris Wilder, he said that that the issues between the clubs doesn't involve the two sets of players, and he's right there. But it's clearly something that involves the two fan bases. There's been a lot of to and fro between those two sets of fan bases, and I think the atmosphere that's created on Saturday it's going to be hard for that not to filter onto the pitch. And I think the Derby squad and Wayne Rooney will know just how much it would mean to the fans to win this game in particular. And we've seen them produce some big scalps this season. They're a difficult team to beat, and I think there's enough of a chance of an upset here that makes 4-1 a really good value pick.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting selection. Like you say, I think the Rams will be definitely up for this game. Rooney will get them firing for this particular one. There we go. Ned opting for Derby County as his value bet this weekend as they face off against Chris Wilder's Middlesbrough. 4-1. That's priced at. Please do gamble responsibly. 18 and over. Right, let's look at the wild cards next. Just a final reminder to all those watching, get yourself in the comments. Let us know what you think of Ben and Ned's selections so far. And also, have you got any bets on for this weekend? Who do you fancy to get a result? Right, Ben, let's get your wild card bet for this weekend.
Well, I've gone for a big price away double. It's priced at 42.13-1 there. Last time I looked, the first team is Derby that Ned's just put up. I just think, what more needs to be said about the kind of form. And obviously, they've had a couple of losses recently, but he bounced back to form against Hull City. And like Ned said, the kind of situation surrounding the game off the field, it's going to be Rooney's going to have his players really up for the fight. And even though Borough have been in, really good form recently, I can just see Derby potentially nicking that just with, everything that's at stake for them. And perhaps surprisingly, the other team I've gone for, it's a massive 13-2 shot. It's Doncaster away at Portsmouth now. I know Portsmouth just got back on the right side of the results. He'd not won in 5 before beating Burton in midweek, 2-1. But Doncaster, even though they lost to Ipswich, they've got 2 wins on the road recently against who did they beat?
Sunderland and MK Dons.
It was, yes, MK Dons. I think the Sunderland one in particular, well, both in particular, they're both flying, aren't they? So even though they're in generally poor form, it's mainly the home form that's, stuttered a little bit. I think that some of the signings have been interesting in January. Rio Griffiths got off to a good start, didn't he, at Sunderland away? And 13-2 for a team that have beat 2 big teams away from home. I just think that's too good of an opportunity to pass up. Now, obviously, with the general form of being in, they could get absolutely battered here, but the way that Ports have been playing generally and the results that Donny have got on the road, I can see him potentially nicking something on the break and perhaps defending for the lives.
Yeah, I mean, they certainly look like a better outfit under Gary McSheffrey in comparison to Richie Wellens. There we go. A big double there from Ben for his wild card for this weekend. One to definitely keep an eye on for sure. Ned, what is your wild card for this weekend?
Well, I'm staying at the Riverside, and this was actually a selection that it actually took me a while of trawling through different bet sites to find somewhere that would allow me to do it. I've gone for it's 4-1 on William Hill. I've gone for there to be a red card in the Middlesbrough Derby game. I mean, we've talked about what an electric atmosphere it's going to be, and you know, Wilder's spoken a lot about him wanting his team to sort of stay above the noise. But you know, I think that all those Steve Gibson reports tells you exactly the sort of atmosphere that the Middlesbrough are expecting, and I think the atmosphere that the Derby fans are going to bring, you'd hope they keep it on sort of the right side of the line. It's not sort of Leicester-esque in that sense, but I certainly think that sort of atmosphere, and as we've said, I think particularly from the Middlesbrough, I mean from the Derby side, those players will know how much it will mean to their fans, and I think that is going to have an impact on the pitch. So, you know, I wouldn't be surprised to see this one sort of bubble over. And it seems that the FA or the EFL, whoever makes the decisions, agree with me, because Mike Dean's been, I think, put on to referee this game, which I think says two things. First of all, they're expecting things to bubble over a bit, and secondly, that cards are likely given Dean's record. I mean, he's famously the first referee to give 100 red cards in the Premier League. So, you know, at 4-1, £5 sort of returns £25. I do think that this could be a really tasty one, and could see a red card. Johnny Howson, if I had to pick anyone.
Yeah, I was literally just going to ask you who you'd select.
I think Johnny Howson or and this is nothing on his temperament as a player or anything like that, but I think Festi Ebesele, you know, the speed with which he moves, I could see, you know, chasing a ball down, going over the top, red card sort of situation. So those are my two picks.
I could see Chris Wilder getting sent off as well. I don't know why. Just got a feeling. There we go. I like that, Ned. I've got to say, I do like that a lot. I think that's a really, really nice bet there. A good price. Let us know in the comments what you make of Ned's wild card, a red card in the Middlesbrough Derby County game this weekend. It certainly will be a fiery one, you'd imagine. Right, well, that wraps up the EFL betting show this morning. Ben, Ned, thanks for joining me this morning. Thanks to everyone who got your comments in, and for everyone that watched. If you're watching this on repeat on YouTube, please do stick a like in below this video if you enjoyed the content. Also subscribe if you are new around here. Later on today at 4 o'clock, we got the EFL weekend preview show. George Douglas going to be steering the ship for that one, so definitely tune in for that. But from myself, Ben, and Ned, we shall see you soon.